going on today, boys and girls in sporting land? This is JPC with J&J Outlaw Sports, and as you can see, I'm doing a car video, which I've told y'all before. I really don't like doing them as much, but I will do them because if I come across something that I think needs to be said or something that you guys need to be informed about, I like to get in here and get ahead of the curve, unlike some people, and let you know what's going on. Stopped here in the middle of the campus at Sheraton Capstone Inn at the University of Alabama. I'm right across from Coleman Coliseum. If you know where that is, that's the basketball stadium at the University of Alabama. Now, getting right into it here, the topic at hand for me today is the Big 12 is still crying about the Oklahoma-Texas thing. I know it's going to be a hard pill to swallow for a long time for a lot of those programs, especially if they end up dissolving and end up in what they consider lesser conferences, but there's a opportunity for them. And I watched this show called 365 Sikkim Sports, great channel, you need to check it out, and they were talking about it, and it sort of dawned on me that the Big 12 does have a chance to do something special here. Someone has to emerge from that conference. Even if Oklahoma and Texas ain't there anymore, someone has to emerge as the power from that conference, and if they stay together, that can happen. But if they disperse into 3 different conferences, or whatever it is they're talking about doing, maybe not so much, of course, because they're all gone. But all they need to do is just go out and get a couple of big names, not big name schools, but schools with good brand names that have been successful in the past, and some big markets, and push it, and quit crying over spilt milk. I don't see anybody getting mad at Texas A&M and Missouri and Nebraska and Colorado. I don't see you guys holding any grudges against those 4 teams. Oklahoma and Texas stuck it out longer than those 4 teams, and they're getting derided for it. Yeah, they probably could have handled a little bit better, but for Bowlsby to say that he didn't even see it coming, that he was blindsided, that's hard for me to believe. And if he was blindsided, he probably needs to resign. That might be one step y'all need to take to make this conference better, for it to stay together, is get rid of Bowlsby and hire somebody else. But go out and get Boise State and BYU. Boise State's got a brand name. They've pulled off a couple of big-time upsets on big stages. Oklahoma, most notably. Everybody goes back to that game. They've beaten Georgia before. BYU has won a national championship and been close numerous times to breaking in to the top 4. So go out and get these 2 programs, first of all. Those are the first 2 that I would go after. That would put you at 10 after Texas and Oklahoma leaves. Then go down into Florida and get you a couple of big markets down there. Central Florida has long been a budding, sleeping giant that someone needs to pick up. Great, huge enrollment. Great market in South Florida, and also in South Florida is South Florida. They're in the Tampa market. Grab those 2 Florida teams. That puts you at 12. You're automatically going to be, at that point, in my opinion, on an even keel almost with the Pac-12. Now, coming back across here, you was crying about the ACC, not the ACC, the AAC. They need to change those acronyms, by the way. They're too close. The AAC, you was crying about ESPN encouraging them to poach your members and maybe the AAC becoming a Power 5 conference. Well, instead of letting that happen, be proactive. Get ahead of the curve, Bowlsby, and your constituents. Get ahead of the curve, Bowlsby. Go out there, get Houston, get Memphis. That right there puts you at 14. You get Houston and Memphis, maybe even Tulane and Cincinnati. That would be a natural fit for West Virginia, who hasn't had really a lot of geographical teams to really form new rivalries with. Get Tulane and Cincinnati. Tulane's in the New Orleans market. Cincinnati, of course, is smack dab in the middle of the Big Ten market. Grab a little bit of that. Cincinnati would be a natural rival for West Virginia. And then you got 16 teams that all have nice size markets and some brand names that have actually done well on the big stage. You get those teams together and have a 16-team league. At first, it may not look spectacular, and you're like, oh, there's not the big-name brands, but there will be big-name brands that will form from that conference. Because right now, the Pac-12 is not doing that great themselves. So y'all still have the opportunity to do something special. And then y'all don't have to compete with Texas and Oklahoma anymore either. That, to me, is a big plus in a way. And that's all I got to say about that. If you guys and gals don't mind, like, share, comment, and subscribe to this channel, because you are the common Joe and the common South End, know even more so than all those media talking heads. And with that, KMCA to all the other teams.